Hi there, I'm Valerie and welcome to my channel Mystic Muse. Today we're going to do a pick a card reading on which tarot queen are you. If you have a moment, please take a second and hopefully I put the picture on there of the 4 cards and pick a card to indicate which queen you are in the tarot. So there'll be 4 different cards, and one of the things that I might advise is that when you pick a card, pick the card that you choose first. Don't go back and forth a couple times and say, okay, well, no, the second one, maybe the first one. The first one is always the right one, and that is the one that you're called to, and that is your card. So now if you've picked a card, we'll begin. So our first card, and I'll put timestamps so that way you can go to the card that you chose. So number 1 card is the Queen of Wands. So if you chose the number 1 card, you are the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands, if you can see her, she is very passionate. She would be a fire element, so that means she might be like an Aries or a Leo. She might have that type of energy. I say she, but that doesn't actually mean that it has to be a female gender. When we pick the queens, they're more of an archetype and not a gender. So, I've had males that were actually indicated in the tarot as a queen because they had more motherly qualities, or maybe there was something about them that was more feminine or that would remind you of a queen. So when the tarot chose to indicate them, they used like the Queen of Cups. So, the Queen of Wands doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a female, but this energy is of a fire sign. She's very passionate. She is, you follow your passion, you follow your heart when you're the Queen of Wands. You are of high status. You are not, temperamental, but you definitely show that you are not to be messed with, that you have a defined line of, this is my space, don't intrude. At the same time, you are strong-willed and you're definitely a leader. So that is more of your nature. And as far as a life stage is concerned, a person might choose the Queen of Wands to represent a stage such as starting a business or leading a project, or when you have a vision and you are unique and you have people who would follow you in that vision. Even if it doesn't make sense, you know what you're doing is right, and you know what you're doing is what you're supposed to be doing. So you have that leadership, you have that goal in mind, and you're driven. So that would be more of the Queen of Wands energy. And in this particular deck, each deck has its own vibe to it and its own way of indicating the queen. And so in this deck, she is, definitely very put together. She seems sort of eccentric and passionate. At the same time, she has a little mask. So maybe, part of being this queen is that you do have a face that you represent and show everybody else, but you keep some of the private things to yourself, or, you have another side to you that isn't automatically right there in front of everybody. So if you're not a fire sign, or if this doesn't seem to really be part of your personality, it might be likely that you picked this card because you're drawn to it, because you could use some of the qualities of the Queen of Wands. So, I recently got this card, and it isn't something that I usually get, but like I said, tarot is flowing. It isn't stuck. You can be the Queen of Swords in one situation and the Queen of Wands in another situation, or even, with different partners, you will have a different role and be seen in a different way. So I recently got the Queen of Wands to indicate that it's time for me to step up and to start doing what I want to do. So, that's where I'm at and that's what I'm doing. And she's very passionate and she believes in herself. and that would be my take on the Queen of Wands. So if this is something that you're not like, then this might be energy that you could utilize now, or that you are drawn to for a reason. So thank you for being part of my pick a card for which queen are you. And if you'd like to know more about tarot, or if you have any comments in regards to the queen that you are and how this relates, please leave them below. I would love to hear them. Thank you. Now, on to the second pick a card. So our second, if you chose the number 2 pick a card for which tarot queen are you, then you chose the Queen of Swords. So hopefully you can see her. I'm going to try to put her in the video or the cards, showing the pictures more clearly. So the Queen of Swords is definitely, all of the queens are an archetype. And so they all have a certain energy and a feeling about them, and they represent different elements. And so she represents the air element, so you might be an air sign. She also, the swords in the tarot, represent knowledge and knowing and thought. And so when you're the Queen of Swords, you are very logical and strategic, and you can seem cold. You might seem harsh to some people, where it's not, like, I would say cutthroat, because we're talking about the swords or the Queen of Swords, but it doesn't mean, it's more like you're just very direct and to the point, sword to the point. And in this particular deck, and in the tarot, I always consider the deck, because there's a lot of base meanings for the swords, but there is specific meanings depending on the deck. And when you look at the image, it's telling you a story. So she has, like, a face guard and a guard over her head. So, it's, in a way, it's sort of like protection. So when I got this card not too long ago, tarot is fluid, so you're not always the same queen, or you're not always drawn to the same archetype. And sometimes, depending on the situation, it changes who you are. So, if some situations I might be the Queen of Swords, and in other situations I might be the Queen of Wands. So in this particular situation with the Queen of Swords, when I recently had it, it was a big indicator of that I needed to keep my wits about me, that I needed to be logical in the situation that I was in, and that in that particular situation, I was knowledgeable and I did know what I was doing, and, to not doubt myself. And so that is a message that the Queen of Swords can bring to you, is that, in whatever situation or where you're at right now, you need to keep your wits about you. As far as being a stage in life, it could represent that you are going to school, or that you are knowledgeable and that you are actually a teacher, or that you are in that you are needing to be strategic at the moment, and that is something you need to utilize. So if you are not an air sign, and you are not particularly it doesn't seem like this is something that is part of your regular personality, it could be possible that you're drawn to this archetype at the moment as, something that you can utilize. You could utilize the Queen of Swords character traits and her her archetype and where you're at. So maybe it could be saying that you need to plan, you need to be strategic, you need to think about what you're doing instead of feel. It could be an indicator of that, and that, or that you know what you're doing, and to not doubt yourself and to know your knowledge. So that is my take of the Queen of Swords. Please comment below and let me know how this resonates with you, and why, and that would be nice to know. And if you have any other questions, or if there's anything else that you'd like to know about, please also comment. So thank you so much for being part of the pickup card and finding out which queen you are. So now I will move on to the number 3 pick card. Which queen in the tarot are you? So if you picked number 3, then you are the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups, as an archetype, She is a lot of what she does and a lot of her motivation comes from how she feels. That's an indicator of everything she does. A lot of people, might be like what they think, but she uses how she feels as an indicator of what to do or how to think or feel about a situation. So a lot of people who would be resonate with the Queen of Cups might be empathic. They might be very nurturing, sensitive people who have jobs that work with children or in therapy or healing modalities. They're very in tune with their feelings, and so and what is not seen, what is below the surface, not just what is logical. So sometimes their choices might not seem like they make sense because it doesn't follow the normal path of logic, but that's because they're tapping into more of their intuitive side and what they feel and what they sense. And so Queen of Cups, you could be a water sign, or you could have a water sign in like heavily in your chart as part of your moon or sun sign. Yeah, so as an archetype, if the Queen of Cups, if this is something that doesn't seem to resonate as much with you, or it doesn't seem like you, it could be possible that you're drawn to the Queen of Cups because this is something that you can utilize with whatever it is that you're going through right now. So maybe you're always a logical person and you're trying to decide or make a decision or have some direction. So getting the Queen of Cups would be an indicator of to listen to your feelings or to sit down and figure out how it is that you do feel about a situation, and that would be helpful to you, or that you could be entering a phase that is the Queen of Cups phase. So a Queen of Cups phase, you could be having a child, you could be pregnant, you could be taking care of somebody else. So the archetypes and the Queen of Cups can represent stages of life and roles that you could fill. So thank you so much for picking a card, and thank you, Queen of Cups. If you have any kind of questions about this, or if there's anything that you would like to share, please feel free to comment, and thank you. All right, so if you chose the number 4 Queen, then you are the Queen of Coins. The Queen of Coins, let's see. So she's very practical. A lot of Queen of Coins would be earth signs. Taurus, let's see here. Taurus and what other signs? Capricorn, a lot of very grounded signs. And so she likes stability, and she doesn't like quick, fast change. Change can happen, but more of a gradual change, like how something would grow. It grows in phases, and it's very logical and structured. So being orderly would be something that the Queen of Pentacles would like and appreciate. She's very in tune with her environment, and she appreciates quality of material objects. So it doesn't mean that they have to necessarily be materialistic, but they have a connection to material objects, and they like their environments a certain way, and they are the center of their environment and their world. And a lot of the times a Queen of Coins would be more mature and more like the matriarch of her family, and or his, like I said in previous pick a card options, it isn't necessarily gender specific, it's just an archetype, so it's more of the quality. So there are men and whoever that could be the Queen of Coins. It doesn't have to be a female, but it is the energy that's associated with it. So more maybe nurturing. She would be the type to have a garden, and so to really grow your environment and to have comforts of the home and comforts of your things and what you need, and to be at that stage is something that the Queen of Coins would be. So as a phase, you could be this could be like you need to, you know, set home, you need to make a structure, you need to build your home the way that you want to have it, or arrange things in your home to make it feel more like home. You need to command your environment, because that's what Queen of Coins does. She commands her environment, and she grows within it. And, you know, so also it's an abundance. So the Queen of Coins is an indication, can be an indication of wealth or instability. So that could be a phase. If you are not an earth sign, or this doesn't totally resonate with you, with where you feel like what you're like at the moment, it might be a possibility that you were drawn to the Queen of Coins as something that you might need to incorporate as part of what is going on with you. So maybe it would be helpful for you to be more structured and to have, you know, slow growth and stability, and to build and to create the environment that reflects you and where you would want to be, or to, you know, invest in material objects. Maybe it would be nice for you to invest in getting yourself a few nice pieces of clothing or furniture, or things that would make you feel more in your element. And so that is my take on the Queen of Coins. And if you are the Queen of Coins, then thank you for watching, and I appreciate it. And please feel free to comment and share how this resonates with you. And I appreciate you watching my video. And hopefully, if there's anything else that you would like to see or learn about as far as the tarot, please let me know. Thank you so much.